everybody, and welcome to the Friday Mortgage Coach Mastermind call. Every Friday, it's all about productivity. How do we make more money in less time and have more fun as mortgage professionals? Today, I've got Michelle Town is going to be our special guest. She's also one of our feature, if you guys could control your mute. She's also one of our regular facilitators. What's up, Michelle?
Morning, everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. So we've also got Wally Elderberry jumping in. He's going to share some thoughts probably about halfway through the call. We've got Dan Keller. He's got some ideas that he's going to be sharing about 20 minutes into the call. We got Rick Gary that's going to jump in at some point, share some ideas. And who knows, Bliss Sawyers may be here and share some ideas. Before we get into the topic of the day, I'm showing my screen right now, and it's on the Mortgage Coach Mastermind group in Facebook. Again, if you're not already part of this group, just do a search in Facebook, Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind, and I will give you permission to have access to this. It's mortgage professionals only. Here is the topic of the day, by the way, and if you have some questions or if you have some strategies. I mean, this call is all about what do we do in November and December so that we close the year strong, and we do it in a way that we kick off 2017 with a boom, with success. So if you do want to jump in and add to the conversation, please do that. We have a question here. What is your favorite business plan worksheet? By the way, Wally, if you could control your mute, I'm going to mute you, but just mute yourself when you're not talking there, bro. And then this is the biggest idea. Rick Shear, who I interviewed on Tuesday, said his biggest and most successful strategy for 2017 was his Realtor Mastermind events. So I put a post on that. I put a link to a quick conversation I had with him yesterday. And within that conversation yesterday about Realtor Masterminds, there are links to other calls, so check that out. Robert Stover kicked off his program, and then just kind of going through what's new in Mortgage Coach, looks like Rick shared some of the takeaways from his Tuesday call. And again, his Tuesday call was, of all the things he's doing that are just making him more profitable and more productive for 2017, he shared those, so that was what the Tuesday call was all about. And then one last thing before we get into the topic of the day, I put out this poll. Thank you for the 50-plus people that voted. I'm creating some content, some training programs, and I wanted to know, what do you want to learn? Do you want to learn how to wow a realtor in 5 minutes? Do you want 5 scripts every loan officer should mastermind? Do you want to give yourself a raise of 10 to 15%? Or do you want the best realtor strategies for November? Obviously, that one is winning right now, but please vote. We just want to know what you think are great ideas, and when we do put these polls up, please let us know what you think. Last update, I think it's one of the more useful LinkedIn posts that I've done, where I transcribed the call I did with the Gaylord Hansen team, one of America's most successful teams, on their realtor strategy. And in that call, they had 5 realtor strategies. And I transcribed it, and then I wrote an article. And then within that article, there were 10 scripts. So there were 10 scripts that they were using with realtors. And I put that in this LinkedIn blog post. So if you have not read that, I mean, it's a pretty long post, but according to some of the tools that I use, it's a 13-minute read. So 13 minutes of reading, and not only are you getting some of the best scripts from the Gaylord Hansen team, you're getting their 5 strategies to get more referrals for realtors and convert those loans for realtors. So check that out. So with that said, Michelle, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Why don't you jump on stage here? Michelle's going to be a special guest. Wally, are you here? Can you turn on your film to say hi real quick? Wally? And I have unmuted you, Wally, by the way. No, Wally.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Hey, brother. We're good. How are you doing?
Good. See you guys. Good. Appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all, man. And thank you for making time. I know you had a lot going on today, and Wally moved his schedule around so he could be here. So really appreciate that, man.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, I think your ideas, your strategies, how you're executing is just exceptional. So you get a lot of value to the conversation. Dan Keller, you are unmuted. Are you here, brother? Dan Keller.
I'm here. Can you see me?
We can see you. Thank you for making time, too. Dan had an all-day meeting. He heard what Michelle was going to talk about, and he's like, one, I want to hear that. And two, he has some ideas to share. So guys, we're going to let Michelle rip. Again, for anyone who's watching this call, these three people are all, well, I don't know what your production is on PowerPoint, Dan, but Michelle, how much are you going to do this year, and how much did you do last year?
So we did a little over 100 million last year. We're on track for 90 million. We have served 202 families so far year to date, and we hope by the end of the year it will be close to the 250 mark. I'm gonna miss my numbers just a little bit, but I did make that move, so I'm actually pretty happy with where we're at right now.
That's awesome. And Wally, what about you? How many families served for the year, and where do you think you're going to land?
Last year we did right about 100 million, 370 families-ish, somewhere in that range. This year, yeah, with the move also to Fairway, probably be somewhere closer around the 90 million-ish range, somewhere in that ballpark. Number of families, should know that. I don't know that. I don't want to lie. Okay. So I'll circle back.
All right. And then Dan, what about you?
Yep, and this is why I'm on this call, because I'm the lower end of the three. We're gonna exceed 75 million, and we're gonna help. We're on pace to help over 215 families. So, right in the ballpark. But I wanted to be around these two stats.
Oh, come on, man! And we have other folks that are going to join us on this call. But I want the takeaway to be: these are powerhouses. These are some of the most successful mortgage professionals on the planet and in the mortgage coach community. And I always think how you close the year strong matters. You know, what you do in November, what you do in December, it plants the seeds, it creates the plan for next year. No one just starts January 7th, says, okay, it's the new year, let's get started, and kills it. That does not happen. You know, it's what you, I mean, and by the way, I will say when you look at the best of the best, it's what they've been doing all year and how they incrementally take it to the next level. But it's not too late. I'm going to hand it off to Michelle, but just say that, you know what, the most important 2 months for 2018 are right now. You know, what are you doing with your body? What are you doing with your planning? What are you doing with your team? And how are you engaging with realtors now so that you kill it in January, February? And then, of course, what you do in January to February dictates your success in the spring home buying season, which is when we all make hay. So guys, let's take our cameras down and spotlight Michelle. Michelle, I just gave you the desktop, so you can share your desktop and rock it out for 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll bring Dan, Wally, and whoever else wants to join the conversation.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm so excited to be here and, you know, just honored to have a moment to share some ideas with you. But before I get into the presentation, I like to show, like, numbers. So I'm going to pull up something real quick. So bear with me. Let me find it real quick. I should have had this prepared. I apologize.
Hey, it's a mastermind. It's a mastermind.
Yeah,
This is not some rehearsed, perfect, polished presentation. This is you sharing, and by the way, everyone, you asking questions. So if you do have questions, post those in the GoToWebinar control panel, and also raise your hand, and we will bring you into the conversation.
Okay, so some of the techniques that I started in towards the end of 2014. So I just want to show you, and I'm going to go by family served because that's really important to me. So in 2014, you can see I served 110 families, right? So I said, I want to increase this. How do I do that? So I made some changes, and in 2015, I served 204 families. In 2016, I served 241 families. And in 2017, we are currently at 158 families, which is pretty amazing. So I wanted to show you some of these things that I'm doing and some of the things I listen to and why I get into these mastermind groups and have a coach and, work with Mortgage Coach and work with, listen to my Darren Dailies. It's all because I realized, somebody hit me on the head in 2014 and said, you need to invest in yourself. You need to invest 10% of whatever you're doing back into yourself, whether that be financial or time. And, I started doing that in 2008, and I was broke in 2008, but I took 10% of my time because that's all I could afford then. And then the next year I was able to take 10% of what I earned. And then the next year I did 10% of what I earned and the time that I had. And I just want to show you, if you really look at investing in yourself, this is going to be a difference. And your clients feel it because you're not feeling rushed and desperate. You come across more relaxed, and as your business grows, you're going to find it becomes a little bit more simple. I know it sounds crazy, but it's a little bit more simple if you have your best practices in mind. So I'm hoping that these 3 practices that I do are going to help you guys increase your business. So I'm going to go right to the slide. And if, obviously here's I got to figure out how to do this. So I'm sorry. Let me move this over here. Okay. So my first thing that I do is my closed clients. I was in Sales Mastery. I had the honor of being in Sales Mastery last year, and I was doing some amazing things, but I listened to a gentleman speak, and man, he schooled me, and he let me know that I wasn't doing enough. So I changed this program up a little bit at the end of last year, and I'm finding that my clients are happier. I don't make those, awkward phone calls where you go, "Hi, it's Michelle," and they go, "Who?" And you go, "Oh God." And at that point, oh, I didn't do my job. I didn't stay in touch with them. I was relying way too much on email. I had drip campaigns, which, came into my model in 2015. And what I realized is I got off the phone. So I changed my plan up, and things are so much better. Now I'm having, a great year and a down year. And here's one of the things that I do. So I do, every time I make a call or a closing, I make a 45-day call. And I want you to realize it's a call, not an email. I do a 45-day call. I want to make sure, number one, they got their first payment coupon, the closing gift that I've sent. It's really important for me to get reviews. And I explain to them again, please make sure if you haven't had time to do my review. Number one, it helps me with my Zillow standings. But number two, I use that as a gratitude piece for my team as well. Make sure their experience was incredible. And if it wasn't, talk about it that time. Say, I know things were a little crazy, and I know, let's say we missed your closing date. I just really wanted to, reiterate, that's not what we'd like to do, and let them talk about it. Thank them for their business again, and ask if there's anybody else that they know that you could help. It is fresh on their minds. You're 45 days in. They're excited. They've moved in, hopefully, and I find a really big, I get my best rewards from that call, because anything that could have gone wrong, or all the craziness of, getting a loan, the last 3 days of funding, everybody's running around, I find that they've forgotten all that on that 45-day call, and they're really happy. So that's one.
Hey, real quick,
yeah.
Before we go off that, a couple questions came in. One, where are you having your reviews posted? Yelp, Google, Zillow. What is your primary place for reviews?
My primary place is Zillow, and that's only because I've been using it for a while, and that's where it helps drive my rankings up, because I use Zillow's website to drive my rankings up. So the word Zillow and then Michelle Town comes up. If you type in San Clemente and Zillow, I actually pop up first every time. So I use Zillow because I want to use their bandwidth.
Got it. How many reviews? I mean, just ballpark, just to give everybody a feel for what type of platform you have.
So right now I probably have about 165 five-star reviews.
Awesome. All right, great.
I'm ranked pretty high, pretty high for an individual. I mean, there are companies that have bigger ones, like, the Wells Fargo and stuff will have bigger reviews because they conglomerate it, but For an individual, I think I'm one of the highest ranked Zillows, but I push all my clients to it too.
Okay, great. And by the way, Dan or Wally, not now, but if you have questions for Michelle, be writing those down and you'll get a chance. Go ahead, Michelle, continue.
Okay, and then on the same one where I call it my closed clients, it's a little bit of overkill, but it's not. I do a 6-month call. And that 6-month call is just making sure everything's going well. If it was a refinance and I had done a cash out, this is my time that I look at rates to see if now I can put them into a rate and turn. I ask them, how's everything going? How's the home improvements going? Do they need a home equity line of credit that I can either do myself or refer to somebody else? Because my whole goal is to make sure that these people know I'm their one-stop shop. I don't want them logging online. I want them coming to me. So if I stay in front of them with a phone call, and then your phone calls every year they're comfortable. They know who you are. But, and then I do a quick review of their interest rate and say, hey, I just want to let you know. And, Dave, you shared something with me 3 weeks ago on Messenger. And I think what a great idea is to maybe even do a quick TCA analysis and say, hey, I just want to let you know, hey, rates right now are half. You're at 4.25. Everything's going great. But what I also do at that 6-month call is I go over, hey, your value, you've gone up almost $15,000. Do you realize how much you've built your wealth? And that impact really comes after the first year, but the 6-month call keeps them very excited of, why they made the move, what they're saving in tax benefits, what they're saving in equity in their home, and it also helps me stay in front of them and ask them if there's anything I can do for them, because I really preface to my clients, it's one of in my intake call is, we want you to come in as a client, but we want you to leave as family, and family stays in touch with each other. And then the final piece on this closed client campaign is a 12-month call and annual review. That is where I absolutely do a TCA analysis. I want them to see, what their wealth has been. I pull a Zillow review and I give them a income review or a collateral review of their property, and I show them, look at what you've done. And I take their initial TCA that I did on their rent versus own, and I put them both side by side, and I say, aren't you glad you made this move now? Because I want them to see the value in owning a home. And again, supplemental taxes, if it's their first time owning a home, I want to make sure to get in front of them on that question and then ask for a referral. So that is what I do with every single client that closes. But I want to remind everybody on something that I forgot to put in my first slide. When I make that 45-day call, when I make that 6-month call, when I make that 12-month call if it's a purchase, I also call the listing agent and the selling agent. And I say, hey, it's Michelle from Arbor. We closed your client's loan here if it's the buyer's agent. Hey, we closed your seller's loan here. Just want to let you know we just did a great review with them. They're really happy. And I said, I'd love to share this with you if you'd like. Again, I'm trying to keep in touch with the realtors, keep them engaged. And also it reminds the realtors, hey, if you haven't made a 6-month call to them, call them and see how it's going. So it works in two parts. So this is my favorite campaign. And I will tell you, if you do this, your business will grow immediately. And just for calling people, just for staying in touch. And remember, it's a phone call. It's not a text. It's not an email. It's a phone call. So that's the first one.
And I also want to remind everybody, and you'll notice the bullet point, how important the total cost analysis is with your annual review calls. I've done a lot of interviews, and I don't know if Wally's going to touch on that at all in today's call, but he's really upgraded his goal when he came out of Sales Mastery. It's like, hey, how do I get a referral during the transaction from everyone? How do I get a referral within the first year from everyone? And a lot of that has to do with, one, the annual review and the calls. And Wally, I don't know if it's something you're going to cover today, but guys, this is such an important one. And right now during the holidays, it's a great time to just let people know how much you care. So I know out of everybody on this call, you're behind on your annual review calls. There's a lot of people that you did not do this with this year. And by the way, let's say you've got 500 past customers. You can't call them all in November, December. I mean, you could, but I'm just going to assume you're not. But there's no excuse that you can't look at that list and say, hey, you know what? Who are the 50 that are the best referral partners that I think it would be the most rewarding call for them and for me? Who are the 50 people that I'm going to call that are clients, and I'm going to have a great review call? You know, who are they? And by the way, I guarantee you, you will generate loans, and you will get referrals, and you will even get referrals to CPAs and financial planners. I interviewed Danny Harani a couple days ago, and he talked about how when he's calling clients, it's not just to get a loan, it's to get a referral to a planner. So anyways, check out that interview from a few days ago. And Michelle, back to you.
Yeah, and Dave, you brought up a really great point. During this, and if your annual review doesn't happen to be towards the end of the year, maybe even schedule it. Look at your CRM and schedule something in there to say, hey, I'd be happy to send this to your CPA because it's a great way to get in front of them. Or, gosh, this is a great thing to share with your CPA. When you do this 12-month call, ask them, say, would you mind sending me your mortgage statement? I just want to take a look at it and make sure everything's going well. Gives you an idea of how they're paying. You can see if they're paying they're paying down their principal early. Maybe it's time to get them out of a high balance into a conforming. There's just so many things that you can do, and I always come from it from a point of gratitude with the client and thankfulness to be able to help them than a sales call. I don't make sales calls. I make calls to help clients. I don't position them as sales. So my next one is my state. Oh, sorry.
Michelle, one more thing, and sorry, I just can't help myself.
It's okay.
One, I got to do a fact check. It was Rick Shear that talked about how he's getting CPAs and financial planners in our Tuesday call. And then two, on the annual review, one of the things that he's doing is he's emailing all his clients with a link for them to schedule an appointment. And I think he put what that email is, and literally the clients, 10% on just one email of his clients are clicking that link and scheduling their 15-minute review, and then he's doing a campaign of a call and another email, and he's ending up with about 27% of his clients self-scheduling 15-minute review calls. So anyways, fact check and a little bit of nugget, and back to you, Michelle, and we'll get the rest of you guys on stage here in a few minutes.
I love it. And this 12-month call should be an anniversary call every year. So, I mean, if you take a look, let's say that you you've helped 50 families in the last year. So you already know that you have 150 scheduled time with warm calls to clients that you've done. So, I mean, you're going to see it's going to compound and grow. And so, some people say, gosh, I don't know what to do. And I go, really? I can give you a ton to do. Let me show you. Go back to your old clients. If you haven't started this, go back and start it now. And one of my dearest friends, he is really good at helping me smooth out the calls because I get a little nervous when I haven't talked to somebody in a while. So how I break that ice is like, oh, hi, it's Michelle from Arbor, or hey, it's Michelle. I know you weren't expecting my call. However, I just wanted to reach out to you and say, first of all, I'm sorry, I should have done this annual review 6 months ago. I'm a little bit behind, but I wanted to see how things are going. But what I found that has eliminated the who question. It's always been the, oh my gosh. So that was one of my biggest fears when I started doing this, and I had to go back to my database that I didn't call back in 14. And I was like, gosh, these people aren't going to remember me, and I got all this fear. And I just, leading with the, I know you weren't expecting my call, but I wanted to give you an annual review. I think it's time, and bring some kind of value. So that's just one of the little things that I use. But my next one is my favorite, which is swag. So invest in yourself and brand, right? So we talked a little bit at the beginning about investing. If you can take 10% of what you earn, so if you have a commission that is $3,000, put $300 into a swag account. That swag account can be for swag or coaching or mortgage coach planning or anything that you want to do, but I try to take 10% of what I earn and put it into this account. I happen to be really heavy into coaching. I love it. It helps me. It keeps me accountable, but I do love my little swag stuff. And I apologize. I'm going to let you know, when I took my pictures last night, I did not have my swag at home with me, so you're going to see some swag. So I get pens, coffee cups, mugs, notebooks, anything that's, you know, all of these that are on here, the pens, the coffee cup, mugs, notebooks are under $10. And if you buy them in bulk, you get even a better price. And I brand myself. It says Arbor Financial, the Town Group. Clients love swag. Realtors love swag. When I do a broker preview, I bring out I have these beautiful copper coffee mugs. They cost me $10 a piece. And I bring a box of 25 to every single one of them. And we put our business cards in the inside of the coffee mug and close it. And they're giveaways. They like this. It brands you, number one. People start remembering who you are. But when I send a pen or coffee mug to somebody for their birthday, one of my past clients, I will tell you, 70% of the time I get a call from them. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for thinking of me. And it was more than the birthday card. It's something I had to do because I wasn't getting a lot of birthday responses. So I actually stepped it up a game and put in a pen or a coffee mug or a notebook, something to show them, hey, congratulations or happy birthday, or here's a $5 Starbucks card, anything to stay RESPA compliant, but also keep in front of my clients. So these are just some of the things that I do. Here's our little Arbor pen. Actually, when you click on the click, it actually lights up on the Arbor, which is really cool. I do these bound notebooks. A lot of people like it. I actually use these a lot for my realtors when we start having a lot of more inventory. I say, hey, take the book, and I have my business card glued in on the inside. And I say, take this book and, you know, make your notes of the houses you're going to see. The H2O bottle is a big win. I use this for all of my refinance gifts. And then these tote bags, they're $1 a piece. And right now, with the way California is at charging 10 cents per bag, I just hand them out. I'll actually go to a grocery store and ask them if I can leave some. And I buy those in bulk at 1,000 at a time, because I run through those so fast, but everybody uses them. So when I leave an imprint, I want it to be something that they're going to use, and I want it to be something that isn't edible, because they forget about you after they finish it. So that's my idea of swag. So hopefully everybody likes that, but that also, again, creates phone calls. It creates a conversation. It creates engagement for me with my clients and with my realtors. And then the final thing. Okay,
Michelle, real quick. I want you to tee up your idea, but I also know Dan came in to jump in, share a couple ideas, and he's got to jump.
Sure.
So why don't we have Dan share some of his top ideas to close strong,
right.
And then you do I know you've got one more, and then we'll bring Wally in, and we'll see where it goes. How's that work for you?
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to stop showing my screen.
Yeah, go for it. And then Dan, if you could jump on screen real quick here, buddy.
And I'll shut off my video.
All right.
Okay.
Right. So, Mr. Dan Keller, you've heard some of Michelle's ideas. What are some of your ideas on how you're closing strong and what you're doing to prepare for 2018?
Well, I mean, I'm going to start doing a couple of things that Michelle shared. I absolutely love I do the 30-day call, but I'm not as aggressive and as intentional, I think, as Michelle is, and I love it.
Again, we're not hearing you. So I think the video might be, your internet might not be great. So why don't you turn off your video, and then we could hear you. By the way, can anybody else hear Dan, or is it just me?
I can't hear him either.
Okay, Dan, we don't hear you, bud. All right. So, Michelle, why don't you come back?
Okay. Hang on. Let me get my computer back on, or my screen back on.
Sorry, Dan, we're not hearing you.
Okay. All right. I'm going back to my screen. And
right.
Dave, do you want me to? Okay. So back on video. I think. Okay, and then do I have the screen now?
I did push it to you.
It might be on a reminder here. Hold on.
Here, I'll take it and then I'll give it back to you.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to push it so you'll get a little pop-up on your screen here in a minute.
Okay, got it. Okay. All right, okay. I'm back.
And Dan, actually, if you get your mic figured out, we'll bring you back in. Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last thing is something that everybody tells you nobody does, and so if you can do it, it's going to change. It's going to fill up your calendar through March. So I set my appointments now. I don't wait. So I call my realtors and my business partners. I'm already booked. So my January is completely booked up already. I'm now filling February. And I use my script is, one of my realtors is Dan Keller. So I said, hey, Dan, it's Michelle from Arbor. Gosh, the holiday season is approaching quickly. You've had an incredible year. I used MTA Go to look at how much they've done, and I'll say, oh my gosh, your team has done $50 million this year. That is so great. I really like to see, I know things are going to get crazy in the holidays. Can we go ahead and get some appointments on the books now for next year? I've got some great new ideas with video, YouTube, some things that maybe we can collaborate on, some shared videos that we can do. Can we get the next 2 appointments on the calendar? And I'll ask them, how does Tuesday, like for that Tuesday, January 16th and Tuesday, February 20th look for you? I love this because we all know in January that all the new people that are coming out, everybody who's renewing is going to start going to every open house, every broker preview, everything, and our realtors are going to be inundated with calls. So I don't want to be a part of that. I want to be in front of that, if that makes sense. I want to engage them, so I don't let them off the hook. If they say, well, I don't know what my calendar looks like, I'll say, well, I'm going to go ahead and send you an invite for these days. If it doesn't work, let me know, and I'll reschedule it for a different time. I follow up with an email. I set a calendar reminder to call them the week after to remind them, hey, just great, thanks for talking to you. And then I call them a week before the meeting, and I keep them engaged, not engages. I keep them engaged. So I really, that right there fuels my realtor guilt. I started with 20 or 25 that I was working with, and it was just too much. I couldn't do my job. So I'm down to 12 really focused realtors that these are the people that I'm setting my appointments with, and I try to meet with them once a month because I want to tell them about new products. I try to do face-to-faces at least once a quarter. It has to be at least once a quarter. But I really like to do it at least twice a quarter. And then we do phone conversations, or we'll do lunch, or we'll do coffee where I bring their team in and we'll talk about things and ways to help each other grow our business. So that's what I have to present today.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, it's mastermind time. Can you guys hear me okay?
Great.
Can you hear? Good. Okay, so Michelle, why don't you take down your slides? By the way, folks, we did share Michelle's slides in the Go to Webinar handout section. And we will also, if you're watching this from a video on YouTube, there'll be a link to her slides down below. So what's up, Wally? Dan, have you made it back in?
I'm in. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. So, by the way, Michelle, stay on stage now. I mean, I think, let's huddle up to have a standing meeting. So, Dan, real quick, what are your ideas and strategies you want to share? Then we'll do Wally, and then we'll ask each other questions, and we'll mastermind. Let's roll.
Yeah, first off, Michelle, incredible info. I mean, that was I got a couple of big takeaways from that. I think the 30-day call is what I do, but how intentionally you are with the 45, 6 months, 1 year is incredible. So really, really great job. There's just a couple of things right now. I think I had an awakening. It was last year. Last January was my worst month. This is January of 2017. Was my worst month in the mortgage industry in 5 years. And so I made a commitment this last year to make sure that never happens again. And it's a result of what we're doing, like exactly what you guys said at the beginning of the call. It's a result of what we're doing right now in October, November, and December. And so I doubled down. I do a lot of home buyer classes. So I'm teaching 3 home buyer classes a month. So I'm doing one in the north side of Seattle, I'm doing one in the south side of Seattle, and I'm doing one independent one that I'm teaching without real estate agents, specific on VA financing. So three home buyer classes. I'm teaching 4 lunch and learns for real estate agents a month, and I started all of this in October. The lunch and learns, 2 of them will be in office, and 2 of them will be actually hosting one on Monday, and we've got 26 real estate RSVP'd for that. And then the third thing that I'm doing to really move the needle, one of the things that I learned from my coach recently is that real estate agents, big real estate agents with big teams that do a lot of business, they're evaluating their business right now. And they're evaluating certain relationships that worked and didn't work in 2017. And so I've dedicated, starting in October, I call it Whale Wednesday. So every Wednesday I call 10 big whales in our marketplace. It's not fun. I'm cold calling these people. I'm sending them stuff in advance. The idea is I cold call them and I get shut down, and then I send them something of value. And I've already had 2 appointments set with whales, and these are big players. They close over 100 transactions a year as a result of the phone calls getting shut down, saying that, hey, they're good. But my follow-up, immediately I send out a card. The next day I send out a book, an item of value. And then I pop by their office and I just try to catch them. Those are 3 things that I'm doing right now, you guys, that I'm having some success with, and hopefully we'll be able to prove that in January.
Awesome, Dan. So for anybody that's watching this live, in the video of this call down below, I will put a link to how Dan and a few other of the best loan officers in the country are doing lunch and learns, and how they are doing home buyer events. So I just entered, Dan was part of a mastermind I did a couple weeks ago. And down below, if you do want to do events like that, check it out. And also, the other event that I highly recommend are realtor masterminds. There'll be a link to that below, too. I've done a lot of interviews with, how do you do a mastermind event with realtors? Wally, you're up, buddy. What are you doing?
I got to follow these 2. All right. Michelle, you are a stud young lady. That was awesome. The 45-day thing was brilliant. Bringing in the listing agents, absolutely brilliant. I have, thank you very much. I'm sitting here with Neil, my chief of technology. We're taking notes, so I appreciate that a lot. We're just, with your permission, we're going to try to do everything we can to steal all that. So, and we'll circle back with you to take some of your advice and coaching. So I'm just kind of doodling here some of the notes we've been doing. So first I'll kind of hit the AMRs. That's kind of been a topic that we all been talking about. Obviously, I am I don't want to call myself an AMR virgin, but I mean, I haven't done them in 19 years, so I'm just starting. So I'm an AMR rookie. How about that? That's more PR. So let's call it a rookie.
That's better.
Learning.
By the way, the AMR stands for Annual Mortgage Review. AMR.
Got it. Annual mortgage review. And by the way, I'm calling it total cost analysis now instead of mortgage coach. You should be proud of me. So doing 5 of those a day. So we created kind of put together a whiteboard model of how I'm actually structuring those and how we're reaching out through our past clients with technology. And then reaching out to about 5 a day, and I'm averaging about minimum of 3 on my calendar. That's my goal per day. I've hit my goal probably 3 to 5 days a week. Sometimes it's only about 2. But I mean, a year ago, 0. So I can't be too mad about that. And Dave, maybe we can set up another call to kind of talk more about that. But one thing I've been really doing is coaching. So I do every October, which bleeds into November, is I coach my real estate professionals that I work with. So I'm blessed to work with the #1 real estate team in each surrounding city, usually in each surrounding market center, actually. And so we'll, around late September, early October, we're kind of formulating how we want the 2018 to look, how we're going to partner together, how big of a business we're going to grow together, and where we're going to take it. So so that's late September, early October. Then in the month of October, we're finalizing the plan of how they're going to reach their goals, how I'm going to help them reach their goals. And the first week in November, I'm coaching them about vision casting. I'm coaching about, hey, okay, so this is where you want to go. How are you going to pull your team instead of push your team? How are you going to actually be able to cast this vision to where you've got buy-in, and just walking through that path. And then starting next week, we're going to work on the social media videos that they're going to be doing to be able to execute that vision to the marketplace.
Love it. So the three of you, I want you, in a minute, I'm going to ask each of you to ask one of you a question. So Michelle, you're going to go first. We're asking one of these guys questions. You guys are going to all ask each other questions. Before I do that, I want to make sure the audience gets some of their questions answered. Michelle, they want to know, where are you getting your stats on realtors production? You know, where are you getting that?
I use a program called MTA Go. It's about $115 per month. And what I like about this program is it tells me the listing, the buying side, and I can actually click in there and go in and see who they're using as a lender. So if I'm working with a realtor and they say they're using me, I can go see if they're cheating on me. Because if I see a consistent pattern, I'm going to call them out on it. I mean, one of the things about being with your realtor partners is it is a partnership. And so that means that each of you have to be accountable. And I like to see what they're selling, and I can see when I have a realtor that I want to go after, let's say a whale like Dan goes fishing for, I'll go look at that whale and see how many cash transactions they do and where their buy side is. And I want to see what their stats are and, see if it's a lot of Wells Fargo and Bank of America that are doing those loans. Because, listen, I changed my whole business model this year because I know I can't compete against Wells and Chase and Bank of America in the jumbo world, and nor do I want to anymore, because I don't like to work with a client for 9 months and then lose them when they go do the deposit. So I changed my realm to niche. So I look at what they do. I look at the transactions. If I have time, I'll actually go research. And I always make that phone call. I'm not an emailer anymore. I make that phone call to that agent and say, congratulations on your closing. What a great, amazing way to start the year, or a great way to end the year, or whatever it is. So, and they always go, how are you doing this? And I go, I have all my secrets. So MTA Go, I love it, and it's very inexpensive.
Okay, real quick, Michelle, do me a favor. In our private Facebook group, I want you to post, to get realtor production, put a link, and then ask everybody, what are you using? Because I guarantee in different markets, there's different tools. That probably is not in all 50 states as good as it is for you. So everybody, we're going to have a little bit of mastermind in the Mortgage Coach Facebook group. Michelle's going to share what she's using. If you're using something in a different market, let us know what that is. One more question, Dan. Someone wanted to know, when you said I'm giving realtors a thing of value, it sounded like it's a book, right? I mean, it's something under $25. Is that right? If you could respond to that question.
Absolutely. Yeah, an item of value is going to be a book or an audio CD from, there's so many people out there, from Todd Duncan to Bill Hart to, Wally. There's so many people out there where you can download MP3, burn it onto a CD. So it's something like that that'll add value to their business. But yeah, definitely it's under. I'm not going nuts on spending a bunch of money on this, and obviously we want to stay compliant.
Absolutely, and everybody, do check with your compliance team. Make sure that whatever you do, it is compliant. Good compliance is good selling. All right, Michelle, do you have a question for Wally or Dan?
I have a question for both. Dan, first of all, I have a comment. Going after the whales, that is, Dan's going after the whales, right? Or to get it confused?
Correct.
Wally,
Dan's going
Wally Wednesday. It's Whale Wednesday with Dan.
Whale Wednesday. Okay, well, either way, Whale Wednesday is incredible, and my hat is off to you. That is a lot more. I gave up on that because I got too scared and intimidated. So hats off. And Wally, tell me why you started doing your annual reviews. What made you go to Mortgage Coach? Because I have so many people that I work with that say, yeah, I want to do it, and I try to tell them the value, but what changed your mind?
A I'm kind of a slow learner, to be honest with you, I guess. I mean, there's two major people that have really, really changed my mind. One is 110% that good-looking man looking back at me right there, Mr. Dave Savage. Mm-hmm. And the other gentleman is Todd Duncan. They've both been hammering in my head at these for quite a while. I'm just trying to understand how to grow a bigger business. I see a lot of people hit that $100 million ceiling, and there's only 40 hours in the week, and man, 40-hour work weeks. But I mean, I'll work my tail off, and I'll be the hardest working person in the room. But I'm still hitting that $100 million ceiling. So I just try to figure out how can you work smarter, and I think that's kind of the biggest thing that finally really hit me. Hiring production partners to grow a business and I stopped being scalable at 100 million because I could never get to my $250 million goal just going after realtors and only. So to me, go after financial advisors, CPAs, and especially past clients. The vehicle that I'm using and focusing on is Mortgage Coach.
And by the way, I coming out of Sales Mastery, Michelle, Wally and I did like a 3-minute interview, and I thought you crushed it in that. And it really came down to, he added up how many past customers he had. He said, if I could get a referral once, annually from 30% of them, I think it was, knowing my conversion rate, I would hit my 2018 goal. And the best way to do that is to give them extraordinary value and to talk to them. And that meant do an annual review. And by the way,
and the thing about that though is, I mean, if you look at it where we have about, let's just say it was 370 families last year, but let's just say it's 400 for round numbers. For me to get to 600 families, man, how many realtors is that I'm going to take out to lunches and dinners and relationship with and any of that nature, right? What if I focus on getting one referral from every single one of my clients in 2018? That's 400 referrals, and let's just say it's only 50% closing ratio. That's clearly how I'm going to get from 400 to 600 families help. And then Dave asked me to take it further. What would it look like if you got one referral after the process and one referral during the process? Obviously that's a lot bigger number. So I wasn't really necessarily thinking that way, and really understand how to work smarter, not necessarily harder. And after 19 years of helping families, I think I'm starting to kind of figure it out just a little bit.
So Dan, I'm going to give you the question next, but before I do that, I hope everybody heard what Wally said. His goal is not just getting a social security number, closing a loan, and doing a transaction. His goal is getting a referral during the transaction, getting a referral in the first year, and that's why every single family gets a total cost analysis, because it's all about that wow, all about creating that value. So it's not just a rate quote, keeping promises, doing a loan, being great to work with. There's tangible value. People want to refer you because they see that, oh, they're getting that TCA. And of course, Wally's great to work with. He keeps his promises. His pricing is competitive, and he delivers an amazing experience. Again, you have to do all those things. Yeah, question for Michelle or Wally?
Wally and Michelle, you both kind of got me motivated now to jump on the AMR bandwagon. I've heard it for years, like you have, and it just totally makes sense. So I think hope everyone listening has heard what Wally was saying from a scalability factor, getting a referral during, that's what we all try to do, but after, using the AMR approach is so big. So I've got a question for Wally and Michelle. So Michelle, would you make that 45-day call and you talk about going and giving a Zillow referral? I know a lot of the listeners, I get asked this often. I do the same thing on that 30-day call. I want that review. What does your phone conversation or script look like as you're having that conversation with the borrower about getting a Zillow review?
Okay, so I'm going to share something that Zillow shared with me, which has helped a little bit. I actually start to ask for the review when I order loan documents. And what I tell them is things are going to get a little crazy. You're going to be moving, and I tell them my reviews are I tell them my reviews are how I give bonuses to my team. I tell them, when I get a good review and the team gets a good review, they get a bonus, or we go do something fun together. So I make it very personal because they have a personal relationship with my team. But I ask for a review at the beginning when docs are ordered, when we've cleared all our conditions, and say, can you do the review now? And then again, I ask them again when we close, and then I ask them again on the 45-day mark, because that's 3 times I'm asking for reviews. Most people, and I learned to be okay. A third of the people are going to review you, and that's it. And be okay with that, because that's what happens. They just don't like to review. I've tried the Monkey Joe surveys and all of that, but those don't help me because they don't post that. But they do help me for my team. But I don't want my clients having to do a review for Monkey Joe and then go do a review on Zillow, and it's just crazy. But that's how I do it. I just use the script and make it personal. Let them know that it's really important to our business. We send an email reminder. We call them, and every time we talk to them in that first 45 days is always about, hey, if you haven't had a chance to review us, let us know. And when they do review us, we send a thank you card with a Starbucks card.
Hey, off that topic, yeah. I hear a lot of Mortgage Judge members doing reviews. I hear social survey come up often as a tool that's used. I'm going to put a post. I want to know 2 things. 1, how many of your clients do reviews? And 2, what technology are you using to get more reviews? So that post will be in here after the call. Dan, did you want to add anything to that? I didn't cut you off, but I sort of did.
No. What is wrong with our clients? Like, she's asking, and we're literally getting that 25 to 30%ish. 1 out of 3 will actually do a review. And so you're spot on with the numbers. That is an incredible strategy. I'm going to start doing that. As you're approaching loan docs and the escrow process, plant the seed. We plant the seed up front, and then we go quiet until we close. So I think that's really big. Thank you.
Yeah, and something else to think about, for those of you that are only at like 20% or 25%, that 35%, that's a big number of reviews. There's a lot of value in maximizing your reviews. So let's one mastermind on how to get the most reviews. And I'm going to even dedicate a Friday call sometime in the next 3 or 4 weeks to, how do you maximize reviews? How do you get them? How do you package them? How do you use them in your marketing as credibility boosters and referral generating opportunities? So we'll do more calls on that. Wally.
A quick question. Here's just an idea for the group. I'm just going to toss this out there. All right, everybody put their hand up. Tell me if you feel that you pay $25 for a review from your clients. Michelle, yes or no? Dave?
Absolutely.
Yes. What about $50?
Absolutely.
100?
Absolutely.
It stopped at this, whatever the number. Just an idea. I haven't done it. This came to mind. What if we went to our processors and we simply said, hey, we make A, B, and C salary. We make X, Y, and Z bonus per file. I'll give you another $25 bonus, another $50 bonus if you get a 5-star review from this client before you close. Thoughts?
Brilliant.
Down, up.
Great idea. Yeah.
Just thinking of like, how can we leverage?
I'll defer to you guys.
How can we leverage? How can we use the staff, the team, the squad that we already have? How can we leverage them to financially reward them to help the team and the squad to grow? Just a thought.
That's big. I mean, that's really big. If you're closing 20 loans a month and they can monetize that, hey, 20 times 25. Wow. Okay, that's huge, Wally.
Hey guys, we got 6 more minutes. 6 more minutes. Wally, you're going to ask the next question. By the way, questions came in. People asked, one, Michelle, what CRM? I've interviewed Michelle a lot of times. She has shared her CRM strategy. Listen to one of the previous interviews because it's not just a straightforward answer. But also, Michelle, on your total cost analysis, and I'd like each one of you to answer this, are you doing them or is someone on your team doing the prep work for your TCAs?
I'm doing all of them.
Wally, who does it, you or your team with the total cost analysis?
The only thing I do is the video.
So, by the way, and I've interviewed Wally a lot of times, team does the setup, he delivers the advice. Dan, what about you? Who does it, you or your team?
Yeah, it's probably 75% Jason, my assistant, and then if I'm on the go or on the fly and he's busy and we need one done, I do it, but primarily Jason. And like Wally said, I do the video.
Got it. And then, by the way, this Tuesday at 9 o'clock, Dan and 5 other amazing mortgage coaches are going to show how they create it in 5 minutes or less. So Tuesday at 9, you're going to see 5 to 6 different workflows. Some include assistance, some don't include assistance. Jeremy Forcier's done over 2,000 TPAs. He does them all himself. But I do think the common answer for folks that have teams is that it is a team approach. Okay, 5 minutes left. Wally, you get the last question.
I guess I should have been thinking of one. Michelle, how do you organize your day? Yeah, no, oops. How do you organize your day to stay that on point via the annual mortgage reviews and just that world? I love that organization. Like, coach me how to become more like that.
Well, that's a big question. So I'm a crazy person. I cannot start my next day until I can't go to bed until my next day is planned. So usually from 6 to 7 at night, I go through, look at my day, reorganize, look at what's prioritized. I have 3 things that I have to do every day. That's it. Everything else is minutia. But I have 3 things I have to do, and those 3 things have to be done. As far as my annual reviews, my CRM reminds me a week before the CRM needs to be done. And I actually start reaching out to the client up front, because if I can get their mortgage statement, it's even a more powerful review that I do for them. But so I just want to make sure that I'm bringing value. So again, my CRM, it's like taking a note. My CRM tells me when to do it, and it gives me a weekly reminder of when to do it. And then I also have a great assistant who keeps me very accountable.
Awesome. I think that, as me doing annual client reviews, that was the part that I was missing. What the current balances are, what the current escrows are, and especially with changing companies of late. Very brilliant. And 2 reasons. Selfishly, I was asking that question, but 2, I just want to make sure our listeners walk away with the actionable steps and the habits that makes Michelle so successful at what she does. And what she does, I look up to that, and I admire that you're disciplined there. So thank you for sharing that.
All right, guys, some wrap-ups. I posted a question. You should be seeing my screen. What percentage of your clients give you a review, and what technology do you use to collect, package, and promote reviews? So please, again, this mastermind, this group, it's only as valuable as everybody in this group. So please participate and share what percentage of your reviews, what percentage of your clients do you get it, and any technology that you use. Please let us know. Michelle, we got 2 minutes. What CRM do you use, just so we can make sure Todd gets his questions answered?
So I use Jingo right now. I'm closing out Big Purple Dot right now because Jingo is a little bit more interactive with my software, my LOS software.
Yeah, so you use Jingo. Dan Keller, what CRM do you use?
Same one, Jingo.
Wally Elderberry, what CRM do you use?
We're actually getting Jingo programmed right now. We used to be on Velocify, so we're going to Jingo. And on a side note, Michelle, please don't forget to give that realtor loan officer thing we talked about a second ago.
Yeah, I think I already posted it. It's in there. Yep.
Okay, last question. John asked, how many members do you have on your team minus processors? So, Wally, up first, how many members on your team?
5.
Michelle, how many members on your team?
1, 2, not operational, or
not
4.
Not processing and underwriting. Or Dan Keller, how many members
4. Yeah, 4.
Dan?
I've got 4.
Got it. So, I mean, what I've seen out there is that for, include yourself as a loan officer, when you think of, manpower, woman power, on the origination, whether it's lead generation, lead conversion, every 20 million equals 1 person. Sometimes you might see that go down to 15 million. Sometimes you might see it go up to 25 million. But as a rule of thumb, 6 to 8 loans per head count and 20-ish million in production per head count. If anyone wants to edit that, let me know. Hey guys, this call has been awesome. By the way, someone just said, I missed the AMR approach. It stands for Annual Mortgage Review. There will be links below letting you know what that is. So my last ask for everybody is, if you got value from this, you're watching it on YouTube, like it, share it, get the word out. Let's get more people into this Friday call. Let's get more people into the mortgage coach community. Thanks, everybody. And, you know, Michelle, Wally, Dan Keller, thank you for making today a priority. And thank you for being so transparent and so authentic and sharing so much. Huge.
Thank you, guys. All right.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Take care, man.